Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Hi, I'm Denise Mazzola. Welcome to another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. Today we're in Allstead and we're going to be working with a little dog named Buddy, who is not here at the moment, as well as Tucker, who is just over a year-old yellow lab, and with Nicole and Tim, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So Nicole and Tim are neighbors, and Buddy and Tucker see each other through the fence, and it would be really nice if we could get everybody to play together. But it sounds like you guys have seen some behavior that we're not quite sure about.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a size difference. Buddy's about 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's a terrier mix?
Terrier mix.
Okay. And of course, Tucker here is a nice looking yellow lab who's maybe 50? 60, something like that. Okay, so whenever there's a size difference, we need to be cautious and make sure that everything is going to be safe and fun and truly play, because Buddy is going to be on the losing end if something happens. So let me describe to you the process that I'm going to use. This is how I do 99 to 100% of all my dog introductions. It's called parallel walking. So we'll go up and get Buddy out of the house, and we will walk back down this little road. So the road is a little more narrow than the average road is. But your job, Tim, will be to keep Tucker's leash, so that he can come into the middle of the road, but not necessarily actually reach Buddy until I tell you, yep, let's let them introduce, okay? And I'll walk Buddy with Nicole. So we're gonna parallel walk down the road. If we need to continue on down and then come back, we're going to do that as long as we need to, and the goal is to wait until the dogs are a little calmed down, until the other dog is not the most interesting thing to them. But when dogs are and straining at the leash and barking at each other, that's not the time to say hello, because everybody's all riled up. Their arousal is over the charts, and you can often get an active aggression or fighting between dogs that normally wouldn't do that.
Right.
Okay. So once I see that, and I'll sort of narrate what's happening, because you will see the dogs as they're walking, they should be doing head turns away from each other. They shouldn't be staring at each other. So a staring at each other is a threat to them, just as when we stare at a dog, it can be threatening to the dog. So you may see some head turns, we may see some yawning. Yawning is an appeasement signal where they are either stressed or telling the other dog, hey, I don't want to fight with you, and they'll yawn. Okay, they don't yawn because they're tired like we do, and they don't yawn because they need more oxygen.
Wow.
They just yawn for stress. And Buddy already did that when I was talking to him in the house. He was starting to yawn already. It's not a bad thing, it's just an observation.
Right.
I will look to see if we see any play signal. So play signal could be I think everybody recognizes the play bow, front end down, butt up in the air, that's let's play. A paw raise can be let's play. There's something called a play face. It's not very scientific, but when Tucker here is relaxed and his ears are back and he has this nice, calm, open mouth, that's sort of a play face, as opposed to ears forward, mouth shut, staring at somebody. So the way this normally works, we'll do some parallel walking. I'll say, okay, let the dog sniff. And when they do, we may need to sort of do the run in a circle thing so their leashes don't get entangled, especially if they do start to play. And as soon as it looks like it's going to be great, then we'll move into your nice fenced-in yard, and we'll let them play. And if I'm still at all concerned about anybody, like we might have Tucker run around dragging his leash, it'll slow him down. It'll be easier to catch him if we need to. He's like playing with sticks now.
Sticks.
And we'll just see. So Buddy has a nice history of being with other dogs.
Yeah.
And no fight history that we know of.
Not that I know
And
of.
Tucker doesn't have any kind of, and does he have dogs that he does play with?
Yeah.
Or, yep. So my gut feeling is, until I see is, it's probably just like hyper arousal, and Buddy being a terrier, like they have a lot more to say than some other dogs, just because of their breed.
Okay.
And they're tenacious. Terriers are bred, whatever he's a mix of, to get something, to get rats, to get mice, to hunt.
Right.
And they usually can really hone right in on something. So we'll see. We'll work with him and let him calm down a little bit too. Okay, so any questions?
Nope.
All right,
yet.
so let's walk back and get Buddy,
Okay.
and then we'll start.
Great.
Okay, so let's start walking.
Ow, Tucker.
I know. So this is when they... He's got a big bark for a little dog.
That's his loudest bark.
Tucker.
So everybody's ears are back, right? His ears are back.
His ears are back.
Yep.
Oops.
And
Got on film.
Tucker's ears are kind of fluctuate between forward and
Tucker.
back. He looks away a little bit.
Here. Don't pull.
Ooh,
I don't usually pay too much attention to tails, but their tail position is low. His
Okay.
is low.
Even though it's wagging.
Oops.
Poor Tucker.
The leash.
So exciting.
Tucker, don't pull. Stop pulling.
And let's just turn around and go back.
Tucker, stop pulling. Come on. You're hurting.
Come on.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Tucker. Come on. Tucker.
So the paws just play. So I don't see anything that really worries me at all. Let's let them do a little sniff right here. Yep, you just hold on to Tucker and I'll let Buddy choose to come up to him.
Yeah.
Oh, there's other things going on out here. What do you think?
Tucker, come here.
Let's just untangle. There you go.
Tucker, come here.
So sniffing is also a bit of a appeasement signal. So that all looks really good. So let's head into the fenced-in yard.
Even his baring his teeth.
Yeah.
As he does.
Yep, because there's
Tucker.
nothing else that says
Tucker.
to me that it's
Tucker, come.
that's to worry
Okay.
about.
Shh. Good
And
boy.
go ahead and take him off his leash. Just take him off his leash.
Take him off?
Yep. Oh, sorry.
Poor Tucker.
Tucker have any issues with the bones laying around, Tim?
What's that?
With the bones, will he protect those
No,
from...
I'll take it out just in case, but he never has.
Boy. Hang on.
Hi, buddy.
So this is not Buddy's area, so Buddy's gonna have a lot more to sniff around than
Yeah.
Tucker will. And I'm just waiting for Buddy to start to engage Tucker. I know he's gonna pee again. Tucker's all about play at this point. So the other interesting thing is, labs can be gladiator type players, like Rottweilers, hit and run and bang around.
Yeah, yeah.
And poor little Buddy's not really in that play style. I know.
Good boy.
Whoa. So Tucker's a little overwhelming for Buddy.
Hi.
I know. And if they'll sort that out. So there's nothing aggressive. There's nothing, Buddy's doing his thing, sniffing around. Tucker is all about let's rough and tumble and play and...
So will that be just different breeds have different styles of
Yeah,
play?
yep. And, Buddy's backing up. He's not... The reason I did it this way with Buddy loose and Tucker leashed is so that Buddy could choose to come and engage in
Right.
play. And so far, he backs up. But it's also hard to tell because this is a new environment for Buddy, so we have to allow him some time to sniff and explore and get that out of his system because right now that's very interesting.
Don't worry about it.
Go say hi. Be
Yep, so
nice.
just stop patting him.
It's the paw that, and he'll do that with my cat as well, just to play.
Right.
So
All right, well, let's decide.
that's basically what happens, or what happened when they got together. So
And that's not aggressive. That's just big.
Well, it's
I
Buddy
mean, in a
asking,
bad way.
Buddy's not,
He's kind of not liking that.
right, it's a little, it's a little much. You can hardly blame him.
He's not liking it.
Our dog's fun. Let's just make sure he doesn't head over to that
Yeah.
fence area again.
Come here, buddy.
Buddy, good boy.
Good boy.
So no, I don't see any aggression. What I see is Buddy indicating that, Tucker's a little much for his play style. So he'll come in, right, but he won't completely engage, a little bit. Sorry, Tucker. But he's not throwing a lot of play solicitation behaviors. I'm not seeing any play bows. I think Tucker clearly wants to play, but he's just so excited.
yeah.
He's gonna roll him over, and and Buddy's not gonna be appreciative of that. And if Buddy were a little clearer in his "I don't want to play" signals, Tucker might listen and say, "Oh, okay, chill out." But Tucker's, Buddy, he shows his teeth a little bit, but he's not yiping at him. He's not making contact really with him. So Tucker's sort of Buddy's not clearly communicating, "I don't want to play with you." It looks to me like he doesn't, like he sort of does and then he doesn't. See, so he comes towards him and then he avoids him.
Right.
Then he comes towards him, engages a little bit.
So Denise, do you think it's a matter of time, or do you think it just at this point in these dogs' lives they're not probably
be.
shouldn't be getting together?
I think the more that they could walk together and be around each other, you might. So he just turns his head and shows his teeth a little bit, but it's not
Yeah.
very communicative. And what you have said, Nicole, is that when he's met a small dog, he has played.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Tucker may just be too big and too wild for him at this point. It's not that it will never happen, but I would do lots of walking together so that his energy is down, or if he has a play date with somebody else first, takes off that edge a little bit, and then maybe see if he'll play with Buddy. But Buddy's pretty clear about, I'm just gonna walk around him.
Right.
I'm not. He kind of comes towards him, but then he runs away again.
Buddy.
And he's much more about, let's hunt in the woods. Come here, baby.
Buddy, come. Buddy.
And I'm just building up Tucker's frustration. He's being a really good boy.
Yeah.
Huh? I know.
Buddy. Come
New
on.
dog in your yard.
Come on. Maybe
Buddy. Come on.
I know. Sorry, baby. This is so frustrating. You're being a good boy about it. Here. That was some good sniffing. Sorry. Hi, baby. So that's all appropriate greeting. Sniffing each other. But you can't really jump on them.
Buddy, come. No, I'm going to ignore Nicole and just go to Tim.
So he may just do better with small, your little guy's gonna do better with small dogs that are more similar in play styles. Come here, let me untangle you.
Well, and we can maybe do short periods of getting
Yeah.
used to each other.
Yeah.
And then, would Tucker adapt to Buddy's style of play
He
once they
may.
got a little more used to each other?
Some dogs
more
will.
time?
Buddy, come.
Yes.
Buddy, come.
You'll see them.
Good boy. Good boy.
Just hang on, Nicole. Just so
There's
Buddy
still a lot
comes
of
back.
newness here,
Yep. So
yeah.
Buddy, you're right. So Buddy's kind of jumping around because I'm holding Tucker back. There. That's a good boy. So if he does that a lot on his own, it's called self-handicapping. When the big dog will make himself smaller. Oop, too much. Good boy. Good. So that's a stress shake off. There's a lot of energy. And everybody's getting a little bit tired, so that helps. But I suspect if Buddy starts racing around, Tucker's gonna be like, woo!
Endless.
Let's just go for it,
Endless
right?
energy.
All right, so as he gets a little more tired, right, and he lays down, then you can see Buddy comes in a little bit more. That's all nice. I don't want you to make all that funny sound. Oh, I know. You're very, he wants to come and see people. So he does a lot of, the grabbing. Dogs play that way. But I just don't think that Buddy is appreciative of all the body slamming that's happening. So, yes, I would do lots of walks, short little sessions, so that Buddy isn't quite so interesting to Tucker.
Yeah.
And then you
all
could
right.
see if they could play. But you still have to sort of manage his energy level a little bit with a leash or a long line and really see if Buddy's going to start to solicit play or if he'll start to lay down and do some self-handicapping stuff.
So
Right,
would
so-
they both be doing the self-handicapping, or would it
No,
be mostly
because
the
of
bigger
the size,
dog?
right, the bigger dog
Right.
would self-handicap so that he makes himself smaller.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
But it's not aggressive, it's just Buddy trying to say, it's too much,
Right.
and whipping
Right.
around like that. And he may probably run faster than Tucker, so after they had some more introductions, he might just whip around here, but we don't want him spending his time avoiding Tucker either.
Hi.
There you go.
Hello.
Okay, so let's see if we can get the leashes. We'll switch leashes back,
Okay.
Come here. Tucker, come.
and we can.
Tucker, sit.
Oh,
Tucker. Tucker, sit. Sit.
he says, now I'll sniff him. Oh, now I'm gonna try to hump him. That's nice, Buddy.
He's trying to sneak
So,
out.
yeah,
Trying to
Buddy.
sneak out of his collar. Back way.
Yeah.
Good boy. Come here.
So when he's otherwise distracted, right? Like just that whole situation.
Yep.
He came right up, he sniffed him from behind, perfectly okay, but then he looked like he was gonna start to hump him. Which can also be play, but it's just he's
his-
just not gonna like his response
way of-
to whipping
yeah.
around and being all crazy like that. Yep. So any questions before we head back to your house and talk about other issues?
No.
Sorry, Tucker.
That was great.
Time for a
Just
nap.
being able to get them together and see what you're seeing
Right.
as not being as scary for us.
Right. And when they first come out like that, there's a lot of arousal. That's you just keep. If you walked for an hour and did this, which we didn't do, this might even turn out better.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Yeah.
longer you walk
Right. Cool.
and let them sniff and see each other
Yeah,
and
there's still a lot of newness.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And the frustration that builds up between the fences.
Yeah.
Then they definitely need to sort of do some walking before they get together.
All right.
Yep.
Good.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks very much, Tim. It was a pleasure to meet both
Nice
you
to
and
meet
Tucker.
you.
Thank
right.
you, Tucker. Thank you, Tim.
My
right.
pleasure.
Okay.
Okay, so before we talk about house training, any questions about the dog introduction with Tucker?
No, that was very clear to know how to deal with them now by walking them together and that
Okay.
sort of thing. So that was very
We
clear.
did it pretty quickly. I mean, ideally, you could easily walk them for an hour, then bring them in, Tucker leashed, Buddy loose. And when Tucker's energy sort of dissipates, like at the end when cameras are moving and stuff, they were both sort of interacting a little bit. But
Right.
Buddy gets clear to me, not so clear to Tucker when he starts sort of snapping at
Right.
him.
That's what
it's a
scared
little
us
too
the
much.
most. So
Right.
I didn't understand those signals. I was thinking he was being aggressive. because of the teeth bar.
Right.
So.
No, just saying that's too much, but
Okay.
he's very ineffectual in what he's saying. Like Tucker's not getting it. Tucker's sort of like the lug head.
Right.
Oh, you want to play? Okay. And, and poor little buddy's like, knock it off. But Tucker can't really hear them. So, and it's, size difference, play style difference. It's not an impossibility, but like Tim had a good point. They're still very new to each other.
Yeah.
So I think taking it nice and slow.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about house training. He's a little marker, right? He marked a lot in Tim's yard.
Yep.
And when you find a pea spot in the house, does it seem like it's marking?
In most cases, it does.
Okay. The fastest way to correct the house training, and I like what you've done, you've gated off an area so he has limited access. You do not want him making the entire house his bathroom.
Right.
And a lot of times what people do is they get a new dog and let the dog have the entire house.
Which is what we did.
And then it's like, oh, he's pooping here and he's peeing here. And then they start to shrink up. So
Right.
shrink up as much as you need to.
Right.
Keep him with you. Did I see a little crate over here in this room?
There is.
Okay. If you can't watch him and he can't be with you, he should be crated.
Okay.
So he has zero opportunity to eliminate in the house pee or pooping.
Okay.
The other thing you ought to do is you can look for them online or at a pet store, and I would suggest you get 4 belly bands. Have you ever heard of a belly band?
No.
A belly band is it's a cloth diaper for a boy. So it might be like this, and there's usually Velcro on either side. You're going to put it right underneath him, Velcro it on top, so that if he pees or marks and you're not aware, he's going to go in the belly band.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And the reason you need 4 is so that when he goes in one, you're going to feel it every once in a while. Oop, had an accident, take it off, put it in the wash, put on another one.
Right.
But in the house, he should have that on. How old is he?
About 1.5 years on the underside of that, maybe.
So generally, I say 2 weeks. I would push it out to a month. Like just plan that he's wearing a belly band inside for a month. It goes to your studio, everywhere, unless he's outdoors.
Right.
Until you have a 2-week solid, 14 days in a row where the belly band is never wet.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sometimes I put paper towel or other little things in the band to absorb, like you know. And if it's like when my kids were little and they wore pull-up pants, right? They never used the bathroom when they had a pull-up pant on because it was so absorbent that they weren't uncomfortable.
Right.
So there was no motivation for them to use the toilet because they could just go in there. They could just go in there.
So the belly band is going to be something that's going to become a little uncomfortable for him.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Little bit. So don't pad it up so great that. Oh, this is great. I can just pee in the belly band.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It needs to be a little uncomfortable, but without leaking out.
Okay.
That would be the goal of that. And that is the fastest way to, whether it's marking or not marking with a boy, if it's a male dog that's peeing in the house, that's the fastest way to take care of that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's great.
Now the pooping business, it sounds like you've got under control. You put
I feel like I did definitely that.
with the gate and limiting the space. All right. And the other thing I would do is every time he eliminates outside, you're going to treat him outside right after he finishes.
Even when he marks.
Well, no, not like what we saw at Tim's house.
Because he can mark
but if you,
12 times on a walk when we walk him.
Good point and good question. So when you go out first thing in the morning, you know he has to really eliminate. You could label it, you could say, hurry up, go potty, do your business, whatever you want to say. Little piece of chicken, a little piece of cheese. Right after he finishes, and particularly after he poops, so that he's going to get paid for going out. He's going to get paid for going to the bathroom outside.
Right.
And inside, basically, not a whole lot's going to happen for him.
We did something like that with the pooing because after he poos, we run him down and back on the and he loves the run.
Okay.
So it's been his reward and he expects it now.
So he poops and then he looks like he wants to take off and start running.
Yeah.
Great.
My husband does that faster than I do. So.
Well, if you don't want to run anymore, you can also just pay him a little bit.
Right, I'll give him a treat or something. But so the reward after, I think, has certainly begun to help. It's the peeing in the house that's still kind of...
Okay, so a month, 4 belly bands, if they're not clean after, if you don't have those 14 days of consecutive dry belly bands, then you're just going to keep them on until you do. Mm-hmm. And you might need to mark it on a calendar, clean, 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 so you really know, because you don't want to take it off too prematurely. He's just going to start marking again. And the other thing I would suggest is Nature's Miracle is one of the better products to clean with.
That's what I use.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, remind me, have you and Buddy been to any classes?
No.
Okay. And does he know any English?
Yes.
Okay. And there's going to be a test.
See? I speak to him in French sometimes and Spanish sometimes, but no, I do.
Okay.
He does know some of his behavior.
Okay. And what behaviors do you think he knows?
He knows sit, and he's learning stay, and he knows come.
Okay. Except for in Tim's yard.
He did come when Tim called him over from the other side of the gate.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look. Let's just work over here in this space and take a look at those behaviors.
Good boy.
Because I want to address the leash reactivity, but before we address leash reactivity, I'd like to know that he has some English, some knowledge of English, and we'll work on making that a little bit better.
So he sits much better with a treat.
Okay, you can use what I have, or you can use, I have some, he's already wise to it, some chicken.
Sit. And he can go down.
All right, so give him one for sitting.
Yep. Good boy. I should take a few then.
So Nicole, there's a lot of body language that you're doing. His sit command is this.
Okay.
Is that what you want it to be ultimately? Every time you ask him to sit, do you want to do this?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that.
Okay. So if you don't, then we're going to wean you from this to, you have to tell me what you want the final one to be. Sit or sit, just the verbal, so that you can get rid of some of that. So when you're outside walking and you say sit, he'll sit.
Oh, okay.
And you don't have to do a lot of
Okay.
calisthenics
So
in there.
he might even just sit this way.
Very good.
Yep. And there
so-
he's going down.
Right, so walk away. Don't treat him. That's
okay.
not what you asked him for.
Do you want to stay? You need to
No,
stay.
I just want you to sit.
Okay. And should I walk back?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's kind of work on the mat and ask him to sit right there.
Sit.
Good, and give it to him for
Good
sitting.
boy.
Good. So I'd like you to separate your sits and your downs. Mm-hmm. So I don't want you to ask him to sit and then lay down.
Okay.
Or you'll only end up with one behavior, and it would be better if he has any leash reactivity to have two behaviors.
Okay.
So sit, walk away, sit, walk away. Oh, is that so stressful? All right, so let's do one more sit and put the treats on the table, and I want you to ask him without the treat in your hand. Then he can have it when he does the behavior.
Sit. Should I move my hand?
Sure,
Like
absolutely.
I have a fake treat.
Yep.
Sit.
Perfect.
Buddy, sit.
And walk towards him a little bit.
Sit.
Good. And treat him.
Boy. Good boy.
Good, and we'll do one more though. So just sort of take a back up step so he gets up. Come on, get up. There you go, calm back too.
Good boy. Buddy, come.
And sit.
Sit.
And go ahead and use your hand.
Sit. Buddy, sit. Buddy, sit.
Not quite as meaningful. All right, so take a treat in each hand. And what I want you to do is you're going to use the treat as the lure, but it will go away and you're going to treat with your other hand.
Okay. As the sit.
Yep.
So use the treat as a lure. Sit.
Now take that one away and treat with the other hand. Yes.
Good boy.
Good. If you always give him the lure, then you are training him to only work when there's food. Mm-hmm. And most people would like, they're not always walking around with treats in their pockets. And when you're outside or doing something, it'd be nice to ask him to sit and have him just do that without having to have food. So the process is, first you did the lure, which was nice. Now you're going to be in the sort of the second step. You're going to lure, take it away, and give him another treat. So go ahead, do a couple more of those.
Okay.
Do you have more treats?
I have 2 halves.
Okay.
I have more though.
Yep.
Okay. Come. Sit.
Good, and treat with the other
Good
hand.
boy.
Good.
Good boy. And come. Come. Good boy. Whoops. We dropped it.
Good, so did you treat him for coming?
I didn't do it fast enough.
Okay, so that was good. That was a great idea to treat him for coming to you. Just don't treat him with jumping.
Okay.
Because we thought that was for come, he thought it was for jumping.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
okay.
behavior that he does when the food goes in his mouth is
Yep.
the behavior that's getting reinforced.
Yes.
Okay. So now I want you to try to face the wall and ask him for a sit. So you're going to face the wall. You can turn your upper body, but I don't want you to turn your hips towards him.
So, wait, don't turn my hips towards.
Correct. So you can
So-
turn your upper body, shoulders,
So
and
I
ask
can
him to sit.
I can look at him, but my
Correct.
rear end is telling him no business.
Right, that's a good way to put it. Come on, buddy.
Come, buddy, come. And do I tell him from away from my
No,
face?
you can look at him and ask him to sit.
Sit. Buddy, sit.
Hand signal.
Buddy, sit.
Good, and treat him with the other hand. Perfect.
Boy.
Whoops. Good.
Boy.
So the reason I had you to stand against the wall is he needs the behavior generalized. And right now, every sit was with him sitting in front of you.
Ah, okay.
So if you try to sit in your chair or whatever it is you're doing in your studio, are you a painter?
I do a lot of different
Okay.
things.
So whatever you're doing, if you're facing, let's say, a canvas or something, and you want him to sit, you should be able to just look down at him and say sit without having to orient yourself to him that way.
That's why I said I feel I need treats to have him sit, because if I tell him to sit, he doesn't always do that.
Yes. So it's not that he needs treats. Well, he's still a little treat dependent. The process is hand signal first,
Sit.
and then
Good boy.
that was nice, and that was without food in your hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the process is hand signals first, and we get that with the treats, just like you did. Sit. There was no treat. And then you take the treat away and you give him one with your other hand.
Right.
Okay. And to add the verbal word, oh, that was really yummy,
I
wasn't it?
loved
To
it.
add the verbal command, you're going to say, and I'm going to get him up. You're going to say it, sit, pause, hand signal, sit. Good boy. I say good boy more for my benefit than for his. So you say the word, pause just a second, give him the hand signal, and if he complies, you do the treat.
Okay.
It's a little bit faster for his learning than if you say them together. Sit. He'll still get it, but the verbal won't be as strong because the hand signal overrides whatever came out of your mouth.
Right.
So we want you could say apple, pause, and hand signal. An apple would mean sit.
It's this. Oh, yeah.
It's the new command is the word, so I'll get him up again. The new command is the word. Buddy, sit, hand signal, treat. And after enough repetitions, he'll understand that sound, sit, predicts the hand signal, predicts the treat, so he'll start to sit on the word.
Can we get to a point where I don't need the hand signal?
Yes. It's just going to depend on your mechanics of being able to say, sit, buddy, sit, pause, hand signal, good boy. So he doesn't have it yet because there's no recognition that anything even came out of my mouth.
Right.
He's just really, and dogs are masters of reading body language. That's what they do. That's how they communicate.
Right.
They bark at each other, yes, but it's not, hey, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. It's through body language.
Right,
Okay?
right.
All right, so show me his down, and I'd like you to ask him for the down without a sit first.
Okay. Buddy, come. Down.
Nice.
Good boy. Want to do it again?
Yeah, do it again.
Down. Good boy.
Good, that was better.
Good boy. So
Good.
we can do stay.
Okay, let's just keep working on the down. So
Okay.
just, buddy, come here. Good, so ask him for another down. This time I'd like you to deliver 5 little pieces of chicken while he stays down. So we have a little bit of a duration to that.
Okay. Buddy, down. Down. Good boy. 1.
Good, and start to stand up while you give him one and then, no. So I'm sorry, give him one, then stand up or partially stand up.
Oh, okay.
Because I want him to learn that you don't have to be down there with him.
Down. Good boy.
Yep, and then go back down and give him one. So it's kind of up and down real quick. Give him one, good. And then come back up and give him one. Oop, make him go
Oops.
back down.
Down. Down,
Just wait.
down. Oh, good boy.
Good. Yep, and sort of start slowly standing up and bending back down real quick. Yes. So when you go to put it in his mouth, just put it right in his mouth. Yep, good. And then do you have a word that tells him the stay is all over?
What?
Do you say okay or release or
Oh.
free or something?
No, I don't say
To
anything.
tell him that stay is done?
I don't say anything.
Okay, he should have some word that tells him the stay is over.
Okay.
It can be okay, free, go, release, whatever you want it to be. But
All
it
right.
needs to be, and once you say that word, then nothing else happens. No other treats come down to him.
Okay.
Okay? So go ahead. Show me how you said you've got to stay. So show me how that looks.
So what I would do is stay, 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 and then I tell him to come.
Okay.
So we can try it again.
Okay. So the stay doesn't get reinforced, it's the coming that gets reinforced.
Right.
So what's the goal? What would you like? Do you want it to look just like that? Or
I
is there
want him
some-
to stay there when I'm cooking without using gates.
Okay. So don't call him. Because for him, it's all about, he gets the money by coming to you. And he
Okay.
gets nothing for staying there.
So a stay and a come should be used in different scenarios. For like if he's in
Yes.
another room, come, and then
And yes, and if you've called
That's-
him anywhere, it doesn't sound like he leaves your side too much, but
Right.
treat, 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 treat anytime you ask him to come to you.
Okay.
Especially being outside, because you've asked, being a terrier, Lord only knows what we've asked him to leave. You know, a squirrel scent or some scat of some animal.
right.
And really, I'm going to come to you, you're going to give me a little milk bone biscuit, so you need to make sure that the reinforcement is worthy of what you've asked him to do. Okay, so you're going to tell him to stay, and just
Okay.
have you walk that way.
stay, stay.
And then come back to him and give him a treat.
Oh, I get it. Good boy.
And you can walk away again. And you're going to come back to him.
Ooh, this is good.
And I'll give him a couple pieces.
Whoopsie.
Oops, so ask him to sit again. Don't give him
Sit.
any more. There you
Oh,
go.
good boy. Oh,
Okay.
this is good. I can use this when I'm
So the
cooking.
same idea for the down. And if you want him to, like, to me, it seems like it'd be easier to ask him to lie down and stay during cooking, because that's a long time to
Right.
sit.
He paces and he stays over there, and then he comes around to that side and he stays over there.
Okay.
But he's been
So you
learning
could
to
just-
stay.
Right, so you just have him lay down, and you could just keep walking over and dropping pieces of food right between his feet, and he'll start to lay right there, because
Okay.
that's where all the good stuff is happening.
All right. That's
Okay?
great. That's great.
Coming, have your husband hold him, or when you call from outside and he comes back to you, you should lavish him with high value food
Yeah.
to come uncalled.
Okay.
All right.
And that's the important part if he runs away outside, because he gets distracted and he doesn't come
Right.
when he's distracted. So
Right,
that's
right.
where we want to train him to come.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's a little, I play hide and seek, and there's all sorts of things I put together to do a come when called, so that it's really
Okay.
strong and worthwhile for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it's about. Is it worthwhile for me to come to you? Oh, I don't know. All right, so I'm going to just put the leash on so I can show you briefly. You're going to have to just start walking with food. And if I understood you, if he gets out of this collar, then I would suggest you buy I call them a limited slip or a martingale collar.
Is that like a choke collar?
Well, sort of. It tightens on the dog so that they can't back out of it, but it does not give them a correction.
Okay.
So this he can easily just pull right off
Yeah.
over his head.
Yeah.
I don't have any with me, but it'll have another little loop here so that when the leash gets tight, it just prevents him from backing off.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
It was
I've
not going
seen
to give you
those.
any more control over him. He's not going to walk better, but
Mm-hmm.
you'll just feel safe knowing that he won't get away.
We did the harness when we first got him because it just felt so much more of a solid connection to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does he pull on this or not?
Only when he wants to go running down at the end of the street.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to walk this way. So we're going to pretend that you're outside walking, just because we don't have any dogs at our disposal. Come here, you. So I usually just have the dog on my left side. It's just my coordination. Come around. So if you're walking, and let's say he sees the dog down there, you're going to start feeding him the whole time you go past the dog if you don't want them to meet.
Okay.
And if he's acting crazy, quote
Okay.
crazy, barking, lunging,
All right,
feed
yeah.
him the whole time past the dog. Oh, dog's gone. You stop. Just continue
That's
on your
great.
walk.
Okay.
Ah, this is fun. I just want to get you entangled. So we're walking. So he sees the dog, which he's not going to take his eyes off me right now, which is part of the point.
Right.
So
Right.
I would use chicken,
I have
something.
a treat bag with bacon or leftover
yeah.
meats. And
Yes,
things.
that's a
So
great
when I
idea.
take the baggie, he knows I've got it with
Yep,
me.
that's a great idea. And you don't want him jumping for it because then we're going to get more jumping.
Rewards for jumping.
Yes.
Right. Gotcha.
So I'm going to hand you this chicken. I just want you to do a couple of practices.
Okay. I have some.
Oh, good.
Here. Okay.
Let me just get out of the way. Good, and feed him. Pretend the dog's walking. Yep, he's still walking, so you can give another piece.
Oops.
Good.
Oops. Sorry, honey. Down. Good boy.
Good. Be careful about saying get down when down is your lie down command,
Okay.
because you're not really asking him to lie down,
Right.
right? And you can dilute your lie down command by saying down too much for jumping and other behaviors. All right.
Good.
So we've covered, you're going to make sit its own behavior, separate from down.
Right.
Down its own behavior. You can work stay either way, just the way we practice walk away, come back. He's got a nice beginning to it. Be generous with the treats that you give him when he stays. That's a hard behavior to have you walk away from him.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially
it
since
has
he's
been.
sort
Yeah.
of attached to a
Very
little
much
Velcro
so.
dog. Right. The common called whenever he comes to you, lavish him with praise, and if you have some high value stuff, be generous then
Right,
too, because
okay.
we don't know we've asked him to leave. I would suggest you get 4 belly bands as
Okay.
soon as possible, so that you can just cover him up and feel a little more assured that he won't be peeing around the house. Then you want it to be a little yucky for him, so that he'll stop doing
Yeah.
it.
That's great.
14 days of clean belly bands. I would still slowly integrate him back to the whole house to make sure he's not having any relapses.
Right.
You're already cleaning with Nature's Miracle.
Yep.
And then for walking outside, if he can meet the dog, you kind of have a little bit better way of doing it.
Well,
I
no-
suspect he'll be much better with small dogs, just like you've already witnessed.
Yeah.
And because the energy level is more similar.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But if you don't want him to meet the dog or the person, you're literally just going to feed him the whole time you go by.
Okay.
And from that, you may start to see him walking, checking in with you. You could feed him every time he looks at you, because that is a behavior. Looking at Nicole instead of doing whatever else I'm doing
Awesome.
would be, he won't
Right.
be running after squirrels or barking at dogs if he's just looking at you,
Right.
and you're paying him for all of that.
Right.
Make
Awesome.
sense? Good.
Yeah, that's
all right.
great.
Any questions?
No, this is awesome.
Great. Very nicely done. Look at you. You're a superstar. Okay. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I look forward to seeing you next week.
If you have a doggy dilemma, Denise can help. Visit www.denisemazzola.com for more information. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer tested through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. The association requires recertification every 3 years with a minimum of 30 hours of continuing education. She has been training dogs and working with families for over 20 years.